important skill. There you go, baby. You go ahead and have the chair. I feel like you deserve it. If it buys a couple minutes for us to chat, that'll be fine with me. All right, guys. So, gals, friends, Machen here coming to you from sunny South Texas, about to head out the door. And I was thinking about things that really brought success to my career over the last 15, 16, 17 years. What has been that thing that really helped me get from where I was to where I wanted to be, and where I wanted to be to where I'm going now? Like, what was it that I did then that does still work now? And what is it that really just stands the test of time? And so there's a few super important skills. We know about mindset. We know about things that we need to do, skills or maybe having abilities or what have you. As a business owner, I know that I need to be able to share a problem that I can solve. I need to be able to identify that problem and share with somebody that I can solve that problem. That's usually what a business does, whether it's getting new tires or social media scheduling software or whatever the case may be. So today, I want to share with you one special method that you can implement, and something that you're probably already doing. Sit down, darling. You don't need to be standing up. And something that you're already doing. And this one thing exponentially changed my business. So let me get some markers out here. And to get started, if you don't know, if you haven't seen any of this training that I love to share, it's free training. It's here in the Growth and Marketing group on Facebook. I love to share how we find people using social media, whether that's through groups or through using our profile or pages or ads or influencers or taprooting or whatever that case may be. And so today specifically, I want to share, what do we do once we meet somebody? So I'm going to draw out a little bit of that. You know, we go and we use some sort of search, or we go find people somewhere. We like to call this find. And when we find somebody, we need to add them on social media or bring them into a group or whatever that case may be. So at this point, we want to message a person and let them know why we're connecting with them, why we've added them on social media. And you've probably heard of a drip message. So I'm going to share with you the exact strategy that I use for my drip messages, specifically on LinkedIn. And so this is how I do this strategy. Not every part of this maybe works for your business, but I want you to kind of keep an open mind to see how some of this might work in your business. So I'm going to go kind of quick here to kind of keep things moving along. But essentially, as we go and we meet somebody, we're going to message them, let them know why we're connecting with them. And this is what we call a drip message. Some people call it an automated follow-up or a warm follow-up, right? A follow-up message after you've connected with somebody. So typically, for me, I have a series of messages that I send. And the first one is going to be letting them know why I connected. So I'm going to find somebody, I'm going to connect with them, and I'm going to message them. And that next one's going to kind of follow a series of things that I want to occur. I want to reach out to people, and I want to follow up, not just one, but multiple times. I want to get on the phone or face-to-face with somebody. And in doing this, I want to not spend a bajillion hours on the wrong people. And so I want to share the one most important skill, which I haven't drawn up here yet, but I will. It is I would say right here. If I could draw a fire, I would. This is my representation of fire. So anybody that joins late will have absolutely no idea what is going on here. But let's say we're going through a process where we're going to have a conversation with people. And as it goes through, we want to go ahead and have a phone call. And this phone call is, for me, something I record. It's a number that I measure. And in here, I'm looking specifically to do this one most important skill. I silenced my phone, but not the office phone. Bear with me just a second. Oh, how funny. Somebody was trying to reach. I'm muted. There we go. All right, so here's the one thing that I think that we don't discuss enough, or that I think a lot of people don't do. I'm just gonna try to draw some fire there, but I think this will be a better representation. Let's use red. And that's this follow-up. So as we're looking to connect with people, I might find somebody and I'm going to say to them something like, thanks for connecting. And I'll end that with a question. It might look like, howdy, Bob, met you in the growth marketing group on LinkedIn and thought it'd be cool to connect. How is things? They respond, they say, how things are going, etc. And we're going to learn something. A lot of people kind of have different schools of thoughts on connecting with people. If we're in business, we want to connect with people, want to be very transparent, obviously. Sally's drawing down here. My daughter's drawing down here, so you can see some of that. And Sally, you might be on camera. I don't know, girl. I think you are. You can give it a wave. If you're on Instagram, I will give you a shout out and say howdy. I can't see the messages, so I'm using my other phone. Maybe I can see it over here. But here's the deal. As we go through, this is one of my little tips. How about not about us? When we go to meet somebody, how about we make it about them? We listen for ways to help them or things that they may be interested in. My mentor, Fraser, calls it LORD, right? Lifestyle, Occupation, Recreation, Dreams. I've had books I remember the past: Family, Occupation, Recreation, Dreams. FORD. These are acronyms to help us remember things to talk to people about in order to have something to talk to them about later or to have more discussion. So one of the cool things we can do here is send an interesting article. And then we might ask somebody if they're open to doing business, to joining our course, to showing up to our event, to buying tickets to our concert, to buying our book, to purchasing life insurance, to taking that next step, to getting that high ticket software, that coaching, that item that you, Sally, darling, come sit down. You want to ask someone if they're open to the product, that being the benefit of it, or maybe just the product, right? If you sell something that doesn't need a lot of description, or the benefit of the product is in the name, maybe you're just offering the product. Hey, just curious, would you open to a collection of Hawaiian shirts? No worries if not, just thought I would ask. So we're not have a message. Each of these represents a drip, a drop, a message. I guess I can make a little bit more effort. I think those look like little drips. And I see this a lot on LinkedIn. It's ruined. And so I want to share with you a little story like Cicero, right? Cicero, if you don't know, in Roman times, was like the big competitor, right? Caesar, and like came in after Caesar, and essentially is known for being like the biggest failure and in the collapse of the Roman Empire. And a lot of it happens, at least from my perspective and some of scholars and stuff that I've read, the information I've been exposed to. Cicero had so many chances to stand up and to take action, to do something that he knew what to do. It wasn't like the decision was super confusing, it just was scary. And so that fear actually is disabling. I can't remember who it is, but I love how other languages, when you look at other languages, you see how different words work. But he talks a lot about courage and apathy. Sally, darling, I love My Little Pony. I love all the sounds she makes, but it's not a good time for My Little Pony battle in Daddy's office. Can you take it to the other room? Take the My Little Pony battle to the other room. They're battling in here. It's getting awfully loud. Okay, so wrapping this up, give me about 5 minutes and I'll be out of here. I'm gonna get on the road. Cicero essentially has a massive lack of action and sits standing by. And it's said that the opposite of courage isn't fear, but in fact is apathy, that doing nothing when we know that there's more that we could do. And so I just want to share this with you. We all know we're supposed to follow up in business. We don't do it. It's literally 50% of people just don't even do it, not even one time. So I just want to remind you that, the greatest empire like concrete and all that kind of stuff was like lost for thousands of years. Tons of things were lost and all this just because of inaction, we sometimes are inactive because we're afraid of what might happen, what's going to come to us because of that action. But I guarantee you that laying in bed, where most people die, right? Let's be real here. That's where a lot, like the majority of people die laying in bed at the end of their life, running out of life. And so instead of being apathetic, let's go courageously into action in our business, in our aspirations, in our dreams, in our mission, our purpose, whether it's for our church or our colleagues, our friends or our business, whatever it is. Here's a simple system, and this works for recruiting people into business or life. If you're a coach, a consultant, or doing some high ticket sales, this is huge. This is where you bring people into a consult call. And it might look like something like you find somebody, you add them with the message why you're adding them. When they connect, you send a message and ask a question, looking to learn more about them. Sometimes it's called lording and fording life's occupation, recreation, dreams. And we send them an interesting article. This is something I learned specifically on LinkedIn, specifically when dealing with like Fortune 500 companies and high-end decision makers, high ticket decision makers, people that have the ability in their business to spend tens of thousands of dollars. They're bombarded all the time with people vying for their attention. One way to really earn that attention is just give them something interesting. Give them something that maybe they're passionate about, that they're curious about, so that you can just show that you actually care, because nobody cares how much you know. What is it? Zig Ziglar says, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Something like that. Yeah, I think that's right. Anyhow, I'm always butchering the quotes. You can correct me in the comments, please. Always appreciated. All right, so as we move on to this final little slide here, this is something you've heard of before as well, I'm sure of it. And this is just a long-term drip. So essentially, we look to find people, we connect and let them know why, we learn a little bit more about them, we send them an interesting article, and then we ask the question being, hey, like, just curious, would you be open to some information on the benefit of this business? No worries if not, just thought I would ask. And then we do this thing that everybody forgets to do, follow up. We take action. By just measuring these things, how many people you attempted to connect, how many people you're connecting with, how many people you looked to learn more about and was able to engage with them on that, and how many people you asked. If you don't want to do this, you don't have time to do this, you can try without doing that. It doesn't work as well to me. But the thing that really, really makes a difference is this wham. This is warm, automated mail, right? Getting as fast as you can outside. Outside of where you met. So if you met on LinkedIn, get to the coffee shop as soon as possible. If you met on Facebook, get into Zoom as quick as possible. If you met on Zoom in a networking call, get on a phone call as soon as possible. Get into WhatsApp as soon as possible. Are you trying to say hi? The camera's up here. There's not a face up here. It's just the camera. My baby girl wants up here today. It's okay. So I'm going to challenge everybody to think outside the, anybody know what I'm going to write? Think outside the inbox. All right, how do you get outside the inbox? What is the way to really get a different method of winning, right? When other options seem like they're not going to work. All right, how do we think outside the inbox? All right, connect with people on social media like other people. Bring value, unlike other people sometimes, depending on who your competition is. Ask people if they're open, because if you don't ask them if they're open and find out if maybe now or later or not at all they're interested, then what are you doing? Follow up, because almost nobody does it, and get into a consult. Get that call, get that phone call, get chest to chest, get up the ladder of influence, get with people, because if you go from strangers on social media to friends having coffee, then soon they'll be introducing you to family and friends and others to do business with as well. That's the way that it's worked in my experience. That's what I've observed and learned and experienced, not just anecdotal. So that being said, acknowledge people, right? ABCs here. WAM, warm, automated mail. ABCs, act like a business owner. Always be celebrating. All right, ACTs, act, acknowledge, celebrate, think. ABC, always be celebrating. You meet somebody, you got information, you got phone numbers, you got information about business, when they joined, etc. Connection with LinkedIn, celebrate them. They get a new job, their company gets something interesting, you learn something new about this, schedule it, automate it, get it to come out automatically so that you put somebody's name. I don't have my cups in here, I would normally have. Anyhow, you put someone's name, like someone did for me, on a coffee mug and put their logo, like someone did for me. My friend Tirza put my logo on a coffee mug. I love that thing. I think my names were put in lights by a friend, and every time I see my name in lights, I think of that friend. That's what we're talking about doing here. This is a way, this one most important skill of getting outside of where you met and doing something like warm automated mail has been the most important skill. It's a way to follow up, automated. We've heard of long-term drip. You don't know what long-term drip is. Essentially, you're looking to get in business with somebody. Somewhere around here, you'll look to sell them something, right? And if they don't enter, there's two things. They either say no, or they say yes, right? And if somebody says yes, then perhaps they'll go on to look at other offers you make, or other deals or partnerships or renewing services, etc. with you. I love my markers if you guys haven't noticed. But if they say no, we need to put them into a campaign, and that campaign should be at the very minimal 3-to-1, maybe 5-to-1, maybe 8-to-1 ratio of give to get. Right? So do like 5-to-1 or so of give to get. What does that mean? Well, here's a perfect example. You see all these postcards here? I send these postcards out. Many of these go out before I ever ask for anything in return, like, hey, do you know anybody that wants to learn how to send postcards? Something like that. Want someone to, I'll ask someone to join the Facebook group, to save my Instagram or what have you. So I hope this is really valuable for you. This is how you're able to start the campaigns. This is how you do infotainment and campaigns. So essentially, bringing strangers into the strip system where you're looking to get a consultation. In here, if someone says yes and you get that call, they fill your questionnaire, you get that information about them, you're able to send this warm automated mail. And if they say no, you can continue to send information or a campaign at a rate of like 5-to-1 is what I'm suggesting, at least 3-to-1. Same thing we do on a social media post. You're going to give some information, give some education, motivate people, and then you're going to do a campaign and say, hey, I've got an event coming up I want you to show up to, etc. So I hope you're getting a ton of value out of this. Let me know by dropping a heart, by dropping a comment. That really, really lets me know. If you've got massive value out of this, invite someone into the group or share the stream on Instagram. I would love to have you on the show. We're on Reboot the Podcast. So if you're interested in that, drop the word podcast down below. But more than anything, letting me know that you got some value by dropping any comment. A little bit of love is huge and lets me do these more and more. That's it. Out of time. Gotta go get Nexus, my son. That I'll see you at the top or the left of decimal for all of our crypto lovers out there. Peace, guys. Buttons. See you soon.